This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
How are you doing this week, Tim?
Tom, I'm a little loopy.
Yeah? You were telling me you've had just like a busy week.
Had a busy week. I was up early this morning.
What time is early at the Tim household?
5:30.
5:30, wow.
Yeah. There was a little boy who wanted to wake up.
Oh, yeah. Your
Not
son.
me. Yeah, my son.
Yeah, it was your son. The other little boy.
The other little boy. The littlest boy. But, I don't know. He's got competition.
Well, with you.
I'm a bit of a little boy myself.
He's got a competition for attention from his mom. Look at me.
No,
Look at me.
It's
Look
not
at me.
easy for a 3-year-old to compete with a Gen Z hunk.
Well, you're not Gen Z. Tim, people are mad at Gen Z. I don't know if you want to identify with Gen Z anymore.
You know what I say to that? Skibbity toilet.
All right.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I mean, is that more Gen Alpha than Gen
maybe.
Z?
Yeah, well, a lot of people say that I...
that you're kind of Gen Alpha?
Yeah, due to my young age.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's not for me. I don't believe in labels.
Right. But you like to identify as like a 10-year-old boy? You like to go to...
Tom, when I was a 10-year-old boy, life was good.
Me too. Yeah. It is funny. Like
It sucks not being 10 years old.
It
I'll tell you
does.
that much.
Hey, if you're listening to this, you're 10 years old, drink it up.
Yeah. You think it sucks in some ways, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God,
Yeah, I can't drive a car. I don't have all the money I want to buy toys.
Driving a car stinks.
Yeah.
And guess what?
It's stressful.
Yeah, you got toys.
Yeah.
Who cares if you're buying them yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always want more toys. That's
You
the
always
thing.
want more toys.
Yeah. You ever take your son to the toy store and he goes, "Oh, this is fine, father. I have quite enough toys."
Actually, but my son's advanced.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there aren't even really toy stores anymore, are there?
There's like
The toy
there
section.
There are toy stores.
Oh, but are you talking like wooden toys and garbage
That's
that?
That's like the stereotype. Like, oh, the toy store just has wooden toys. No, it just like doesn't. It like, for a kid that's like mostly into like trucks and like construction vehicles. Yeah, they have wooden ones and they have plastic ones. It's just not. They don't have like Paw Patrol branded stuff, and I don't want to buy that crap. My kid doesn't care about Paw Patrol.
Yeah, you should be careful, Tim. It reminds me of like the Joker.
Who? My son reminds you of the Joker?
Your son reminds me of the Joker. So remember he was like, he had no use for money because he said his interests were like gasoline and dynamite and they were
Is that what
cheap.
the Joker said or my son?
Well, I mean, it's what the Joker said, but who knows what might happen
really
one
into
day.
gasoline.
But is that what you're talking about? Like the crappy toy stores with the wood toys?
Yeah, but they're not. You haven't been in them because you shouldn't go in them. You have no reason to go in them.
I could be buying a gift. I could be.
I think also like not only you go in there without a kid, so they'd be like, this doesn't look like a guy that's buying a gift.
Right,
This
he's
guy doesn't buy
playing with
gifts or
everything.
anything. Yeah.
But you do the same thing, like when you go into a lingerie store and you say like, "Oh, I'm looking for something for my wife," but it's really for you, and then you say like, "She's about my size."
Right. So you try.
You could do that. You could say that at the toy store, like, "Oh, I'm trying this out for my nephew. Yeah, he likes trains just as much as I do."
Is that still a trope in like comedy, like sitcoms?
Somebody going to I'm talking about somebody like a man that wants to buy lingerie to wear maybe in private.
No, but like on like a CBS like Chuck Lorre show, is it like, oh, this guy wants to wear ladies' underwear or something? Or
I was gonna say I thought it was more the sitcom trope was more they go in and they're like there's like a beautiful woman that's helping them and they're like yay, and the woman's like, oh, we have this kind of bra, and then she like takes her blouse off or whatever.
What kind of sitcoms you watch? Was this Dream On?
This is
probably
Dream On, yeah.
I didn't have HBO.
Yeah, Tim, you wouldn't believe what happens to the sitcom. All kinds of crazy hijinks like that.
Tom, I know that you were also a big fan of the show The Mind of the Married Man.
Who was that show?
I don't know. I think it might. I think they were like trying to reimagine Dream On for like the early aughts.
As like a was that an HBO thing too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean every generation needs their dream on. That's what they say. Gen Z needs their dream on. We had ours. Something to tune into late at night to get a titillating thrill.
Mike Binder, who's that?
Nah, that name sounds familiar, but I don't know who he is.
Well, he's old now, Tom.
Yeah, he's no Brian Benben.
Yeah, but it seems like a guy that's like kind of Brian Benben.
Was it mostly just that like Dream On was the first sitcom about like a divorce guy instead of like a
No, it's the first
family?
sitcom with nudity in it, Tom. That's why everybody.
I bet it wasn't the first. I bet there was like a nip slip somewhere in history, like an old I Love Lucy or something.
There was a what's the equivalent of dick slip on? Oh, no, a scrot slip on Three's Company one time.
What? Oh, like through shorts or something? Like
yeah,
that?
like
Was
John
it Jack
Ritter
Roper?
was. Yeah, well, John Ritter is that? No, Mr. Roper.
Mr. Roper, Jack was him.
Yeah,
was
I have
John
never
Ritter.
seen one episode of Three's Company.
I've seen 3. I remember as a kid, like sometimes reruns would be on, and I didn't like it. But you know, sometimes
What
it
else
was
are you
like,
gonna do? Not watch TV?
yeah, exactly. What am I gonna do? Turn the TV off?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he was wearing short shorts, which was the style at the time, and you saw, you know.
How do you know about this?
Because they talked about
They
it
had
on like
an
some Nick at Night retrospective.
They had an exhibit at the motion picture.
The Paley Center. Yeah. No, there was like some, because like Three's Company came to Nick at Night.
Yeah, okay.
And I think there was a commercial about it. Like they blurred it out, but they were like,
wow.
did you know? Like,
Ah.
I learned a lot from Nick at Night about old sitcoms.
I mean, that's how I know everything I know about, you know, Mr. Ed and Dobie Gillis. And
Yeah.
all
I mean,
those
that was the real early Nick at Night.
I
That was
know.
like-
When they showed even older shows.
yeah, remember when then it became like, you know, 1999, and Nick at Night was like, we're going to show you like an episode of Full House. It's like, that was on ABC 3 days ago.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Just keep showing old film reels of these black and white shows. Dennis the Menace, that's another banger.
Yeah. But I got to say, Tom, I bet both of these shows are depressing to you. Taxi?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's mostly like the theme song's depressing.
Yeah. What about Welcome Back, Kotter?
I don't find Welcome Back, Kotter depressing necessarily.
You find the Sweat Hogs charming?
In their own way.
Freddie
Yeah.
Boom Boom Washington?
You know what it is?
Rorschach,
You know what?
Barbarino?
You know what I think I don't like about Welcome Back, Kotter is too much of it's just taking place in that one room.
Yeah, but like that's what sitcoms used to be, my
I
friend.
know, but it's like, it's a classroom. Reminds me of going to school.
Yeah, but you love that show, Head of the Class. Well, you like the one guy in Head of the Class, and you didn't like him on Head of the Class.
I think there was 2 problematic guys on Head of the Class. Anyway, Tim, well, today we're talking about a man who made a lot of money off TV.
Yeah,
At least according to him. Not according to him. I could have ascertained that myself.
because
based
he
on his
worked in
credits.
television a lot.
Yeah, he worked in television a lot. But
and it's a lucrative medium, or it used to be at least.
yeah. Well, it's just that
Now I hear podcast after podcast of people in the entertainment industry being like, "We don't make any money in the entertainment industry." It's like, man, you came in at the wrong time, because people like Q, they were making money hand over fist.
Yeah. Jack Benny didn't have to go do a podcast just to try and make ends meet.
Jack Benny had so much money from the entertainment business that one time a guy asked him, told him, "Your money or your life?" And he paused for a long time before saying, I'm thinking.
And everybody laughed so hard they croaked.
Where did we learn? Did we learn about that from Nick at Night too? Like a Nick at Night promo?
No, I feel like it was somebody specifically saying that
Like the Guinness Book of World Records, like named it the longest laugh of all time.
The longest laugh on TV or something. And it's one of those things where you watch like a documentary about like comedy on TV, and they've got some old timer that's like 3 people in the audience died that night from laughing.
I gotta say, Tom, that
it's a good joke.
Joke very, very funny.
Yeah, it's a
First
good
time
joke.
I heard it, I laughed until I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, and I've seen the clip. He delivers it very well.
Yeah.
Hey, to Jack Benny. But that's not who we're... People are probably looking at their iPods right now going, what the heck? It's a Jack Benny episode?
And then they're like, oh, great. It must have been mislabeled, but a happy accident.
Yeah,
I love Jack Benny.
And then they look back at their iPod and they go, what the hell is this thing? It's all screen. And how come my headphones don't plug in anymore? They're just a mess.
Yeah.
They forgot what time they're in.
I miss the early iPod days.
Tim, there's like a huge community of iPod people.
It's not that though. Like it's not that like I want an iPod. I think I just want to be young again. I got an iPod when I was young.
Yeah. iPods were cool. Like iPods were the biggest jump in our lifetime for like media storage, I feel like.
Cool.
No, I just mean that they were like the first time it was like, oh, I have like everything I like with me.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have that. There was no way to do that with TV. You could buy DVDs and stuff, of course, but that wasn't, and like, I don't know, you wouldn't really want to, but the iPod to be like, well, now, hey, you know, music, you could put all the songs you've ever heard on this and bring them around with you.
Yeah. I don't think that's a good thing.
Why? Thought you said you liked iPods.
No, I netted out and I just wanted to be young again.
Okay. All right, Tim. Well, speaking of iPods, because this guy, he made a lot of money off of music, too.
Yeah. Why do you keep framing it like he made a lot of money rather than he worked and did a lot of great work, Tom?
Stay tuned until the end to find out who he is. No, this week we're talking about the unfortunately recently late, great Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
He passed away earlier this month. He
at 91.
91, you know, had lived 10 lifetimes, but still sad.
9.1.
9.1 lifetimes.
Yeah.
Tim, he said he had been a 10-year-old boy 9.1 times. That's how he thought of life. But yeah, we thought we'd talk about it.
Yeah, so pretty much the story begins and ends with the song from Austin Powers.
Oh, dan, 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 dan,
Yeah.
Dan, dan. Yeah, he wrote that song, right?
Yeah.
Or wrote and arranged it and probably even recorded it.
Yeah. He pressed play on it.
Quincy Jones, for people that don't know, a legendary producer. What are some of the big albums he's produced, Tim?
Thriller.
Thriller. That's a big one. You may have heard of it.
Off the Wall.
Off the Wall. Another big one. You may have heard of it.
He wrote and recorded and produced The Dude. Did you listen to The Dude?
No, what's The Dude?
It's a Quincy Jones solo album.
Oh, I didn't know he had one. I was about to ask.
Tom,
I don't really know anything about Quincy Jones.
You have been so enthusiastically like, we got to do a Quincy Jones episode. Do you know anything about Quincy Jones?
Not really. I was hoping to learn something today.
All right.
No, I know that he gives very funny interviews, and he says "speed demon" in a funny way.
Speed demon.
I mean, mostly I know him from his work with Michael Jackson.
Right.
That he was the guy producing all of Michael Jackson's, not all, but his biggest hits.
Right.
And was like a close personal friend of Michael Jackson's. Close personal friend of like a lot of people. This guy was just kind of, he was a mover and shaker. He was.
Yeah. But like everybody from like look, I'm looking at his composing, conducting, arranging, producing. Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was like a very
like
close
Frank
friend of
Sinatra
Sinatra's.
and Tony Bennett like did a lot of the orchestrations there, wrote some stuff, right? That's it. No, Ray Charles, Sammy Davis Jr. You know him? Mm-hmm. Aretha Franklin. You know her?
Yeah.
Dizzy Gillespie. He was a jazz man. He was a funk man. He was a rock and roll guy.
Yeah, and he
loves the crooners too.
Yeah. Well, and he was somebody who had been in the music industry since he was like, what, probably a teenager?
Yeah.
And seemingly like rose up pretty quickly and then was just kind of a big name in the music industry for decades and decades.
Right. Plus, he was married to that lady from Twin Peaks who was really pretty.
Which lady?
Peggy Lipton.
Oh, yeah. And he now has a famous daughter, Rashida Jones.
Who wore a really big shirt in an ad that nobody could ever figure out how her shirt got that big or why they put that big shirt on. It was big sleeves, I think.
It was kind of like the whole thing was big.
Yeah.
I don't know if it even had sleeves. I think it was just kind of like a big piece of fabric on her.
Yeah. I don't understand why she did it.
For money, Tim. For money. She got paid probably a lot of money.
But it was an ad, right?
Right, yeah.
It was an ad
you
for,
get paid to do those for a bank, I believe.
For
Citibank?
Something?
Probably Citibank.
Hold on. Yes. Okay, Citibank. How come Rashida Jones' big shirt isn't getting me anything?
Because I don't know if a lot of people noticed.
What?
Or noticed enough to write about it.
Ad on this. Tom, they write about everything. This was wrong about culture, right? This is the worst thing about culture is like nothing can happen without like, you look on social media and people are like, oh, journalists are so important these days, and like you gotta support like, and then it's just like article after article of like breaking down, Larry David's most onerous insights. It's like, you don't need 15 articles about that.
Well, that's the problem is that, like, I always felt this way. Journalism's a weird thing because
Tim and Tom take on journalism.
take on the Fifth Estate. No, I just remember because I didn't go to school for journalism, but I worked for the journalism school for most of college. So like I was just around it a lot. And it always struck me the like difference between, I've talked on this show about like I got to meet like a bunch of famous journalists when I went to school. I met Sam Donaldson. I met Wolf Blitzer.
Wolf Blitzer, he's just like a dumb guy, right?
Yeah, and he's very, very tiny. He's a petite
I know
man.
Everybody's tiny. You're really tall.
I just couldn't. Somebody said to me, Tom, like you meet Wolf Blitzer. I turned around and I was like, where is he? And then they pointed down. He's like, I'm down here.
That's not what his voice sounds like, Tom.
No, they boosted on CNN. Damn, I gotta. Speaking of web pages, I gotta send you a couple of web pages about what's going on there. But anyway, like I, was in working for a journalism school in the DC metro area. So like a lot of the professors and stuff had like really cool careers as like White House correspondents and national correspondents for stuff. We had a professor who was like the ABC, what do you call them? Like correspondent, like ABC LA's correspondent in DC while he was a professor. So like really cool people with cool experience.
What does this have to do with Rashida Jones's big shirt, though?
Well, I was just going to say that like a lot of them would talk about how important journalism is and like the tenets of it and like really, I guess like hammer into students how important it is, but I felt like a lot of students, what they got out of it is I'm important. Oh, I'm important because I do this.
Right.
And then a lot of those people, not a lot. I mean, some of them went on to do great things, but some of them went on to do garbage shit.
Right.
And they still think, well, no, but I'm a journalist. So
Okay,
that
all right. We don't
that's
need to,
the
we don't need
same
to
as
take down
everybody
journalists.
else. I'm just saying that, look, we got to have like not real journalists and journalists, because I don't think that's true, but I don't know. Journalists that you should respect and ones you don't.
And we should be the ones to determine.
Yeah,
you and I.
we'll make a list.
Yeah.
Put it online. Put every journalist name on there, whether you should respect them or not. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there are people that are doing what we're doing and think I'm a journalist. I'm doing important work.
Well, you know.
We are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I
we're
just wanted to
journalists
make
and
sure
we're
we were
doing
aligned on
important
that,
work.
yeah.
I know. I saw you guys scared for a minute thinking I was talking about us. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about other people.
Okay. Journalism. Jury's out.
I can take it or leave it. But yeah, I mean, they've failed us in this instance because nobody's written about Rashida Jones's big shirt in these ads.
Which is ridiculous. I feel like it was the talk of the town for a while.
And
I thought when I saw this ad on the subway,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there must be.
Oh, this will be on the news tonight.
Well, that number one. Well, at first I thought like, well, this is probably a funny ad. Let me read the copy, and it'll be like, big shirt, big savings with the City Plus card or something,
Yeah.
right? But no,
Something that good.
yeah, nothing. Well, I'm not an ad copywriter, Tom. I'm a journalist. But no, it's just they played it straight.
They play it straight like that's a normal shirt she
Yeah,
wears.
and I was like, maybe there's like a TV version of this.
Right.
That
and there's something with that.
Yeah, and the big shirt is
Yeah.
like commented on, and and then like the TV spot is so famous that like everybody on the subway is meant to be like, I recognize that shirt from the TV commercial.
I know. Tim, I was going to say, it's a real pet peeve of mine when print advertising, you have to have seen a commercial to understand a print ad.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I imagine
that synergy's gone too far at that
I
ad
imagine there
agency.
was like a print ad, probably in like Sports Illustrated,
Right.
with just like the Budweiser frogs, just like a picture of the Budweiser
Yeah.
frogs, and it's like, why is that? Why you got pictures of frogs?
Right.
But if you saw the commercial,
And
you're like,
who
oh, those are
didn't back then?
the delightful frogs that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're like a famous actor like Rashida Jones, getting like, do you think they get more money to advertise a bank because the bank has money?
You're saying this because the bank you deposit money into the bank?
Well, not just because I do it. Everybody does it, and they've got all of our money.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
Not all of mine, Tom.
I'm just saying, like,
I have a large sum of money somewhere that nobody can ever get to it.
like you've never been to Vegas, right?
No.
But-
I've famously never been to Las Vegas, yeah.
But like in Vegas, there's this insane thing that like I did not like at all, where everything's so expensive, and it just seems like everybody's like, hey, in this city, we don't think about money.
Right.
Because it, easy come, easy go. It's just all flowing around. And I wonder if it's the same thing when the bank, hires you to advertise. That they're like, nobody's going to miss an extra mil missing from the vault.
Do you think that's where the money's coming from?
Tim, look, I don't know. I'm not, if I were her, I wouldn't be asking these questions.
Secreted
She
out
doesn't
of
want
the-
to know where
It's
it
not
comes
like
from.
a dedicated budget line for the it's just like, just take it out of the vault.
Yeah. Hey, we
Give it to
overcounted.
Rashida Jones. I mean, you see this like
Samuel L. Jackson, he does the Capital One.
I think like banking and finance, and also like you see this with like insurance, particularly like auto insurance. I think it's just like
It's just
competitive.
so competitive.
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, the budgets are big because like the
Yeah.
stakes are high.
Yeah. Well, and also it's like, I don't know, when's the last time you've watched like a bank or insurance ad? I mean, I guess every insurance ad is just like, we're cheap. We're the
No,
cheapest.
it's like we're gonna out funny each other.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is they don't really have things to like advertise.
Yeah.
Same thing with banks. Like once,
I don't know. That guy from State Farm will answer your phone call all the time.
yeah. I mean, any insurance company's going to answer your phone call.
I don't know, not the fly-by-night ones.
Well,
not
I'm
the
not-
general.
I'm
The
not-
general isn't gonna.
They have Shaq answer the phone.
Tom Shack's a busy man.
I know he's doing a lot of commercials.
He can't. You know what? He can't even answer a phone. They haven't built a phone big enough that he could hold it to his
Yeah,
ear, and then you'll be able to hear what he says.
No, they gave him a 13-inch iPad that they modified, made it into a phone for him.
They told him it's a phone.
Yeah, they told him there's just a regular phone we sell.
Special treatment.
But I'm just saying, like, there's not really things to advertise about a bank or insurance company. So then it really is.
Tom,
Like-
there is.
Like, no, but you don't see it. I think that's where it's.
I don't think you're paying attention to the words that they're saying.
No, it's a commercial. I don't give a shit. But I think that's why they've got the biggest names, because that's what people respond to.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So then those people can go, you want Rashida Jones, you got to pay.
Yeah. That Jennifer Garner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she does an ad for
Yeah,
something.
Capital One. She's the reason I got a Capital One card.
Her and Sam Jackson are doing
Yeah,
it. Wow. You think they have the
An
same
item?
agent?
Oh,
Or
I
they're-
thought you
they're-
thought.
or their agents are so
I think they're
mad.
secretly married.
They might be. Who knows how these bank advertising deals work?
Ooh,
But yeah.
is that a deleted scene from Changing Lanes, where to get revenge on Ben Affleck, Samuel L. Jackson steals his wife?
I forgot that they were in that movie
Yeah.
together. Changing Lanes. Huh.
Tom, I'm a one-man Kevin Bacon game.
It sure sounds like it. Well, were they ever in a movie together that Quincy Jones had anything to do with?
Yeah, Austin Powers, International Man of
I
Mystery.
don't think either of them were in Austin Powers.
So what's your Q take, Tom?
My take on Quincy, he just seems like a fun guy.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this Vulture interview he did in, what was this, 2018?
Yeah, it really turned a lot of heads.
Turned a lot of heads, and this is one of the reasons why he was such a cool dude, that he just
The dude, they called him.
he just didn't care. He would just he is seemingly just a very open and honest guy. And probably, especially by the time he was 85, that he was like, what is somebody going to do to me? Is Frank Sinatra going to ruin my career now?
I don't even think it's about consequences. I think he's just
No,
like,
I think he's
I'm gonna,
always been like this.
I'm going to tell it like it is. And
Yeah.
look, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, do you get mad at the truth?
Well, and also I am realizing that in this he does talk about a lot of dead people that can't do anything, that can't respond. The very first question is, of course, you worked with Michael Jackson more than anyone he wasn't related to. What's something people don't know about him? And his answer is, I hate to get into this publicly, but Michael stole a lot of stuff. He stole a lot of songs. Diana Summers, State of Independence, and Billie Jean. The notes don't lie, man. He was as Machiavellian as they come. Like, he's being set up for like such a softball, like you've worked with him more than anyone who's not his family. What was he really like? And an answer like, a lot of people don't know, but he was a very sweet guy. or he was a lot of fun. He just liked to joke around. He's like, oh, a lot of people don't know that this guy that everybody knows is bad now. Really bad, not just bad as in good.
Right.
Like he initially advertised himself as is a thief. He stole a bunch of shit.
Do you remember when Gallagher had that joke about Michael Jackson at the time?
Tim, you always ask me if I remember specific Gallagher jokes, and the answer is always no.
He was just like, am I going to listen to a man wearing one glove talking about running around saying, beat it?
Oh. So this idea he beat off with his gloved hand?
I guess, but I saw that when I was like 7 years old. I didn't understand what he was even talking about.
Yeah, you're probably like, oh yeah, Michael
Smash
Jackson is...
the watermelons!
You're right, Michael Jackson is silly. Yeah, and then he just talks about how that Michael Jackson was just greedy and stole. He gives specific examples. Don't stop.
I mean, that's something you don't know about him.
Yeah,
he was answering the question.
That's the thing. He answers
every understood the assignment.
He answers every question in this interview in like the best way. What outside of music? What's misunderstood about Michael? Again, it seems like he's trying to get him to okay, aside from music, like, was he, a nice guy? Was he fun? Was he weird? Whatever. And he says, I used to kill him about the plastic surgery, man. He'd always justify it and say it was just some disease he had. Bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm just like imagining.
How did they wind up walking back this? Did they say like Quincy Jones was suffering from dementia or something?
No, I think it was. It wasn't that bad. It was something where I think he later put out a statement basically saying my family said I shouldn't be doing interviews. This is why.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it's more probably just he doesn't. It's this website Vulture wants to interview. Okay, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm bored. Whatever. And doesn't really realize that it's not like the old days where it doesn't matter how small the source is. Everybody will hear about it. I don't know. Or he's 85 and he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Do you think I don't know. Do you think there's some calculation did he? I don't think he and Michael Jackson ended up on the best of terms, right?
By the end of it?
By the end of their working relationship.
I imagine they didn't. I imagine that's why he's saying he's greedy. Right. That there's probably money that Quincy thought was owed to him.
So there's no reason in 2018 to ask tell me something about Michael Jackson. If you feel if you were not on great terms with somebody, mm-hmm. and it's a guy with a very, very checkered at best,
that nobody's going to come out and go,
record of behavior, that you can just be he stole his music and he's a piece of shit.
Nobody's going to come out and go, oh, that's a dead man you're talking about, Quincy Jones. I think he doesn't. Maybe
that man died at the hands of Dr. Conrad Murray, sir.
I think maybe that's something that maybe some people don't get with this. That's he's calculated in this. He's not just willy-nilly saying shit. He's willy-nilly saying shit that he knows he can get away with saying, but he doesn't say anything that's oh, that could come back and really hurt him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although he was asked, what were your first impressions of the Beatles?
Oh yeah.
And this was kind of he said they were the worst musicians in the world. They were no-playing motherfuckers. Paul was the worst bass player I ever heard. And Ringo, don't even talk about it. And it's okay, well, that's your first impression, right? That might have been when they were first on the scene.
Yeah,
and
well, he says, they were 21.
But then he's talking about Ringo when he was in the studio with George Martin and Ringo. This was definitely not during the Beatles' time.
No, yeah.
Because Quincy Jones was not in the studio. And he was talking about Ringo had taken 3 hours for a 4-bar thing he was trying to fix on a song. He couldn't get it. We said, mate, why don't you get some lager and lime and shepherd's pie and take an hour and a half and relax a bit? And then they brought in somebody else, a jazz drummer, to do it.
Who got it immediately.
Yeah. He came in for 15 minutes and tore it up. Ringo comes back and says, he asked him to play it back. And Ringo is drunk at the time. And he's like, that didn't sound so bad.
It didn't sound so bad.
And then he said, yeah, motherfucker, because it ain't you. Great guy, though. But also, there is the, he started out with plausible deniability of, I thought these guys were the worst players on earth when I saw them. And then like he could have been like, but the music they wrote and the way that they played together, and Ringo, you know, didn't have the traditional chops, but he was the perfect drummer for the music that they were writing. But he was like, nope, that motherfucker couldn't play, and he was drunk, and he also didn't recognize when it was somebody else playing. He thought it was him.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy.
I mean,
he's a nice man.
I mean, look, nobody needs to blow any more smoke up the Beatles' asses. Like, I think it's fine to be like...
Ringo feels like he needs it.
Ringo's fine, Tim.
Ringo, look,
and stop trying to send him autographs.
He'll send them back one day. I think. As far as I know, you can keep sending them to him, and he'll send them back. Unless I hear it straight from him, I'm going to keep.
He put out a video.
He put out a video
years ago saying that he can't sign things anymore. He's too damn old.
He's too busy.
He hurt his fingers doing the peace sign too much, and now he can't hold a pen.
About a year ago, they did that. Now and Then, that Beatles song.
Yeah.
And like Ringo was somewhere, I think like, I don't know, he lives in like Greece or Australia or something. I don't know. And Paul McCartney was like, Ringo, let's do this song together, right?
Yeah.
That's
all right. That was like an offensive Indian or Pakistani accent, but all right.
No, that was a perfect Paul McCartney.
Perfect Paul McCartney. Paul talks like this. Yeah, he talks Ringo. Like this, doesn't he?
And Ringo is like, yeah, the last Beatles song, great, awesome. I'm not gonna go anywhere for this.
Yeah.
And so, like, the video and the recording of the song, it's just him at his house.
Yeah. Well, and also,
the guy tours constantly with his all-star band. Couldn't hop on a plane for 3 days to be like, I will like close the book on the Beatles. With my old mate Paul.
Things like that. I try and think about things like that in terms of like, all right, but what do I not know? Would they like not pay to fly him there? Was it like, oh, and then you won't get anything from doing that? Was he like, yeah?
Do you think Ringo would participate if he wasn't getting paid for?
No, but I'm just saying, not getting paid.
A Beatles song that was recorded in 2023.
Not getting paid enough to get off his duff.
Maybe, I don't know. He played like freaking state fairs with like, you know, the replacement guitars from Foreigner for the all-star band.
Yeah, but maybe I don't know. Maybe everybody does what Quincy did with his drums. Everybody just replaces it. So now he's just at the point where he thinks like, doesn't matter how I record it, it's going to sound brilliant.
He's a good drummer. I mean, nowadays whenever they have him on stage, there's at least one other drummer playing.
Yeah.
Great guy, though.
Great guy, though. Then they get into the Clintons in this interview, and he's like, they ask why Hillary isn't popular, and he says because there's a side of her when you keep secrets they backfire. Like what secrets? This is something else I shouldn't talk about. You sure seem to know a lot. I know too much, man. What's something you wish you didn't know? Who killed Kennedy? Who did it? Giancana. The connection was there between Sinatra and the mafia and Kennedy. Joe Kennedy, he was a bad man.
Joe Kennedy was a bad man.
He came to Frank to have a talk to Giancana about getting votes. And the interviewer says, I've heard this theory before that the mob helped win Illinois for Kennedy in 1960. And his answer is, we shouldn't talk about this publicly. Where are you from? Like immediately just changes the subject of like, no, I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory, pal. I'm talking about something Frank Sinatra told me as he was giving me a gun that I had to hide for him. So yeah,
how do you feel about Frank Sinatra?
He seems like he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, okay, good.
I've never Frank Sinatra's one of those guys that I've always like since I was a little kid annoyed like, hey, you gotta respect him. Nah, I don't. He seems like he sucked. Fuck him. Sure, he's got a good voice, but I don't know. Anyone can croon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah. Oh, da, 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 da. That's not singing.
It's crooning. It's crooning, my man.
Yeah.
You got the right orchestrations behind you, anyone can do it.
Yeah, I don't know. And I feel like there's like a type of like older man that like only listens to that kind of music. And they're like, yeah, this is like listening to a woman singing. That's for sissies. I only listen to this man like talk sing.
Yeah.
And
I
look,
told you about that old man that closed out his granddaughter's wedding by singing My Way.
I don't know if you have, but I've been at a wedding like that.
There was a very sweet,
yeah,
went to a wedding, and the bride's, I think, grandfather had a great voice, a crooner voice, and sang a few songs, and like he really respected Frank,
and, much more than us.
And at the end of the night, he was like, "All right, like to close out the night once again." And it's his granddaughter's wedding.
Yeah.
And he sings My Way, which is nice, whatever, sure. And then at the very end, you know, and then, right, it ends with, but he put like a wagging finger out and went, Frank did it his way. And it's like, you ended your granddaughter's wedding with a tribute to Frank Sinatra.
That's the thing.
Being like, hey, everybody here needs to know, respect fucking Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Everybody's got so much. They're like, you got to respect Frank. I don't know. He hit his wives and hung out with a bunch of scumbags. You got to respect them. You don't have to respect them.
Tom, you're going to get fucking killed.
I'm going to get whacked off if I'm not careful. I was going to say that I think, you know what? It's not
by
even,
Michael Jackson wearing one glove.
It's not even, I don't think it's even Frank Sinatra that annoys me. I think he's fine. It's Frank Sinatra fans, I think. Like people complain about like Fish fans. Talk about annoying fans. Frank Sinatra. Oh, you gotta listen to Frank.
Do you think Frank Sinatra had the equivalent of Fish fans following him from like street lamp to street lamp while he crooned under them?
Yeah, probably.
Like, 56 street lamps in a row this year.
Tim, next in this interview, he talks about, right after he talks about...
One of them, it was raining, and he was still leaning on the street lamp, crooning about how sad he is. That's the other thing. All the songs are about how, like... It's
how
like,
tough everything is on him.
Yeah, he's like, Frank was a man's man. It's like, he's like all these songs about how sad he was.
Yeah.
Great orchestrations behind him, though.
Yeah.
Done by none other than... Quincy Jones.
Yep. This guy asked Quincy about were there any rock musicians you thought were good? I used to like Clapton's band. That's a slow hand. What were they called? Cream. He said, yeah, they could play. But you know who sings and plays just like Hendrix? Who? Paul Allen. Stop it. The Microsoft guy? Yeah, man. I went on a trip on his yacht, and he had David Crosby, Joe Walsh, Sean Lennon, all those crazy motherfuckers. Then, on the last 2 days, Stevie Wonder came up with his band and made Paul come up and play with him. He's good, man. And then he's asked about, like, the rich as a result of that. Paul Allen's dead now.
Paul Allen died?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Huh. Co-founder of Microsoft or just like CEO at some point?
I think just like a very early. I'm not sure if he was technically a co-founder or just like an incredibly early employee.
He died he died not long after, 6 months after this interview was.
Okay.
Or 8 months after, in October of 2018.
You think he's trading licks with Hendrix up there right now?
Probably. He joined he was 27. He died at 27. Paul Allen did.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know he's part of the 27 club.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Imagine that jam session.
Yeah.
Paul Allen, Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse,
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, and
who else? Mama Cass? Is Mama Cass 27?
Yeah, Jim Morrison?
Yeah, Jim Morrison was 27.
A lot of people speculate that I might join the 27 club, Tom.
Well,
but I'm old enough.
Well, thank God for years from that.
Skibbity toilet, my friends.
And then they talk about Bill Cosby because he talks about like how awfully the industry.
The only reason you wanted to do Quincy Jones, to talk about an 8-year-old article.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Well, then, all right, so whatever. He talks about Cosby. He kind of doesn't want to talk about him. But then he talks about they dated Ivanka Trump. I think this was one of those other like crazy, things that was thrown out there.
Accusations.
Accusations. He's talking about how he used to hang out with Trump. And he says he's a crazy motherfucker, limited.
Everybody's a crazy motherfucker. Yeah. This guy, yeah.
Limited mentally, a megalomaniac, narcissistic. I can't stand him. I used to date Ivanka, Wait, really? Yes, sir. 12 years ago, Tommy Hilfiger, who's working with my daughter, what's her name? Kadada? Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Said, Ivanka wants to have dinner with you. I said, no problem. She's a fine motherfucker. As you said, everybody's a motherfucker. She had the most beautiful legs I ever saw in my life. Wrong father, though. But then no further, because he says, I used to date Ivanka, and then gives this story. It's like, did you date Ivanka, or did you go out to dinner with her one time? Because I don't know.
It's a date, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, all right. But yeah, just like a weird story that gets, kind of glossed over.
When do you think Amy Winehouse was born, Tom?
Oh,
what year?
I don't know. I don't know. I forget if she's younger or older than me, because she died young.
She's in the 27 club.
Yeah. What year was she born? 86?
83.
Okay.
But she died 13 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Tim. Do the math.
Well, it just feels like yesterday. When stuff like this happens, it feels like...
Oh, no, I feel like Amy Winehouse has been dead for a long time.
Oh, I feel like she just died, and then it's just if that's 13 years, I'm thinking if that, it feels like it happened yesterday. That means tomorrow I'm in my mid-50s.
Yeah. And
that sucks.
And you're going to be thinking, Quincy Jones died 13 years ago?
My God.
That sounds insane. He talks about race being a big problem, and then he talks about how when I go to Dublin, Bono makes me stay in his castle because Ireland is so racist. Bono's my brother, man. He named his son after me. Is U2 still making good music? Shakes head. Why not? I don't know. I love Bono with all my heart, but there's too much pressure on the band. I get it. And that's why he was as successful as he is, I think. That he didn't sugarcoat things.
Right. I'm trying to see if Bono actually did have a child named after
Quincy. If he has a kid named Quincy.
Jordan, Eve.
Yeah.
Elijah.
Eve's in that Bad Sisters show. Okay. So seemingly no.
Oh wow! Really? Oh.
What?
I didn't know that that was Bono's daughter.
Oh yeah, in Bad Sisters.
Yeah,
she's good. I think I forget. I saw her in something else, one or two other things. She is a good actor. Gotta hand it to her. But I just like that he's I love Bono, but he's not making good music, and that's fine. He knows that probably too. What's something you've worked on that should have been bigger? What the fuck are you talking about? I've never had that problem. They were all big.
I mean, that's not true. You go through you could say that they're all good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, you can't say that they're all big necessarily. I'm just kind of glancing through this now. Good friends with Stevie Wonder. Worked with Stevie Wonder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
But then he talks about, it's weird because they ask him who's doing good work now, and he gives good answers of people that are, in 2018 were very popular in making music that he said were good, And then he says, putting aside the quality of contemporary songs, are there any technical or sonic production techniques that feel fresh? No, there ain't nothing new. The producers are lazy and greedy. Right after he says Mark Ronson is someone who knows how to produce. But then he doesn't follow up with like, yeah, but Mark Ronson, nah, still he's lazy and greedy. Yeah. Oh, and this is when he also revealed that supposedly Marlon Brando had sex with Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah. Which has been confirmed by Richard Pryor's family.
Oh, yeah. His daughter, I think, said, yeah. They were talking about the cha-cha. He's just talking about different genres he likes, I guess.
I mean, he transcended
genre.
Yeah.
This person said, Quincy said, do these musicians know tango, samba, bossa nova, salsa, cha-cha? And the interviewer says, maybe not cha-cha. And that immediately gets him to, Brando used to go cha-cha dancing with us. He wasn't talking about Brando before this. Brando used to go cha-cha dancing with us. He could dance his ass off. He was the most charming motherfucker you ever met. He'd fuck anything. He'd fuck a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye. He slept with them? How do you know that? Come on, man. He did not give a fuck. You like Brazilian music? It's the best interview.
Yeah. It is probably the best interview of all time. I think we probably talked about it at length on the show 6 years ago when it happened.
That's why
And it probably was just mostly you reading it verbatim also then.
I just love it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I love lots of Quincy Jones's music. Of course, the theme from Austin Powers.
Billie Jean. Frank Sinatra. Come Fly With Me. That was his
fly
his
with me, come fly, let's fly away.
You don't know that song?
That's what I'm singing. I'm singing the song. Is that how it goes?
Not really. You said that everybody can croon. Turns out you can't.
Well, I need a little preparation time to croon still.
Tom Leslie Gore, Al Gore's daughter. It's my party. It's my party and I'll cry.
God, she must have been young.
Yeah.
What else? Who else?
He had his own successful albums that you didn't know that he released his own albums.
No.
This is from the BBC's list of his 10 essential tracks.
Oh, okay.
His sample, his cover of the Lovin' Spoonfuls, Summer in the City.
Hot times, Summer in the City.
Have you heard his version?
I don't know if I have.
Dinah Washington, Mad About the Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that song.
I know that title.
Yeah. Soul Bossa Nova. I'm Austin Powers.
Are you horny?
Michael Jackson, Beat It. How am I going to trust a man? Run around telling me to beat it. Wear one glove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you beat off with a sequin glove?
Hey, I think that joke says more about Gallagher than it does about Michael
it really
Jackson.
does.
The Brothers Johnson, Strawberry Letter number 23.
Unfamiliar with it.
Sarah Vaughan, Misty. You know the song Misty.
Yeah.
USA for Africa. We Are the World.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yes.
That doc? Yeah.
I love that documentary.
That was my favorite thing that came out last year.
Yeah. He talks about We Are the World a little bit in this, where he just kind of talks about, I don't know, how like the rock and roll guys sucked, essentially. I'm trying to remember exactly what his answer was. But
Who do you think had the best solo in We Are the World?
I mean, the most memorable for me is Cyndi Lauper.
I think.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah.
And like watching that documentary.
Yeah.
Like it almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like she couldn't hit it.
No.
Like she didn't know what she was doing. That's the kind of thing you always laugh at me when I say this. But when you watch something like that, like oh, here's the evolution of how like, you know, a song came to fruition, or when you like get a super deluxe version, and you hear early demos, and like there are things that like are not quite there, which are the coolest parts. I always feel like I feel frustrated listening to them. Like, come on, just do it right. Like, it's right there. It's so obvious. It's so obvious because I've been listening to those songs for my entire life, and I'm like, George Harrison, how do you not know that you should like, or like tweak that lyric? What, that lyric is all wrong. Like the right way is this way. I
was listening to something recently. It was probably like a,
but in my mind, it's like, it's so obvious. It's hanging right there.
It was probably like an anniversary release of something. And it had like the demo versions of the songs. And then they get to like the chorus and the singer's like, dun, 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 dun. It's like, no, that's not the words. Sing the real words. It's like, oh, he didn't have those words yet.
Yeah. And I understand intellectually, but like for things that like I've
Why
heard.
Why are you putting this out?
Things that I've heard like 10,000 times since I was like, you know, some of my earliest memory. It's like, it's there. It's in the ether. Like how do you not know this?
Well, I think there's also like a difference in demo tracks. Like sometimes demo tracks are really cool because it's almost everything's there, but it's just like a stripped down version of it. But then sometimes there are demo tracks where it's like, that's cool to listen to, but like I'm not adding that to a playlist.
Oh
because it's just
there's a lot of that stuff.
It's somebody working it out on paper.
This is an intellectual. It's like reading a book about the making of it. It's like I'm not going to spin that.
Yeah. Well, the speaking of Quincy Jones and I forget what edition it was of Bad that has tracks from him talking about. Not every track, but
that's where
most
Speed Demon comes from.
Yeah, but I'm saying I forget if that was like a 20th anniversary or what exactly it was. But it's fascinating to hear Quincy Jones's takes on every song and kind of little like I wish more albums did that kind of thing. With special, anniversary releases of, hey, everybody has this album already. We're not going to remaster it again.
They generally nominally remaster it.
Right, or we're nominally going to do it, but like to give you value, we're going to add a director's commentary, essentially. But I remember also that release of Bad has demos from Michael where he's like beatboxing instruments.
Yeah, he didn't play any of the instruments. So he just did it all with his mouth. Yeah.
And like that, again, it's like, well, I'm not going to listen to this version of Billie Jean over the album release.
But it's interesting to hear and hear the commentary along with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and to hear the lyrics that he's like mumbling and realize it's not because he doesn't know them. It's because nobody knows him yet. He hasn't thought them up.
He hasn't stolen them from somebody else yet.
He hasn't stolen them. Any closing thoughts on Quincy Jones?
Oh, I have a multitude, but we'll do it after the plugs.
Oh, all right. Well, if you like the show, go to tcgte.com to find out more. Not find out more. There's not much more to find out.
Yeah,
you can find links.
Two guys talking. We don't really know what we're talking about.
We do an episode about a world famous producer because I just really like one interview we did and then a commentary track he did. You can find links to our Discord and subreddit though, which are important. You can also find
get on the Discord, get on the Reddit.
Yeah.
Start the chatter. Sometimes, you know what? I got a bone to pick, Tom. Tim's bone to pick. Get on the Reddit, first of all. And I see sometimes there'll be a post on the Reddit.
Yeah.
And like there won't be a lot of comments, but I'll see something like, like 45 upvotes.
Yeah.
If you're going to upvote something, leave a comment.
Well, sometimes people just like an idea.
I know, and I never post on anything, but get some chatter in there.
I'll never respond, but
here's what the thing is. for the next couple weeks, if you're gonna upvote something, upvote it, and then also go in there and be like, I like this. If you don't have anything to add, that's cool. But just be like, one of those upvotes was me.
Wow.
Own it, too, is what I'm saying.
Like,
Put your screen name
Tim's
to it.
Reddit engagement hacks. You can also check out patreon.com/complete guide for our other podcasts. Normally Books the Podcast, but this week it's The Gauntlet, where we're doing a list of patron submitted topics in a rapid fire fashion. You can get that episode.
Maybe Quincy Jones would have been more suited to that.
Quincy could do anything.
Yeah.
He could produce.
No, maybe.
I thought you were talking about him producing.
No, I'm talking about us talking about Quincy Jones based on our level of knowledge about him. Like, it might be like 2 to 3 minutes in a Patreon episode where we're covering a bunch of topics.
I don't know. I think we kind of covered everything he's ever done pretty definitively. And
I would say that's accurate, yeah.
Pretty stark detail. Patreon.com/complete guide. You can find that and all the back episodes of Books of Podcasts and a whole shitload more. A whole motherfucker load more.
All right.
Quincy Jones can say it,
yeah.
Tim. He can call every 85-year-old man calling everybody a motherfucker. I can do it.
All right. Final thoughts on Quincy Jones?
You said you had tons of them.
Yeah, I do. But I just wanted to give you the
I already kind of gave my final thoughts. I like a lot of the music he did, and he seemed like a really cool guy.
Yeah, I echo all of that. And I would say,
I like his daughter, Rashida Jones. I always think she's great in things.
Yeah. Is she funny? I think she's funny.
Yeah, I think she's pretty funny.
Yeah, she's kind of got like a deadpan humor, right?
Yeah, and nowadays she kind of does more of the like half comedy, half drama type stuff.
Yeah, dramedy they call it.
But I've always found her very funny.
Yeah.
But she's a good actor. She should be able to do anything she wants, including wearing a gigantic shirt that's not even explained.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Like, she's got me talking.
Mm-hmm. Tim, think about how many people went out and signed up for Citibank.
Think of how many people wear big shirts now.
Yeah, you see it all the time.
Me and the rest of my Gen Alpha cohorts, we're all about big shirts.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.